Welcome. In this video, we're going to do an unboxing and component overview of Dungeons & Dragons Tyrants of the Underdark board game. So down at the table, this is the second edition of the game. And just note, this is for 2 to 4 players. But Michael Kelly over at the One Stop Co-op has developed his own version of a solo play. So be sure to check that out. So in Tyrants of the Underdark, seize the Underdark. Take your place as a leader of the Drow House and fight for control of the Underdark. Build your deck throughout the game to recruit Drow, Dragons, Cultists, and Demon minions, and use them to assassinate enemy troops or infiltrate and control your opponent's strongholds. Choose your strategy carefully, though, for only one house can rule the Underdark. So let's go ahead and take a look inside. So we've got our rulebook, 18 pages. Going over final scoring on the back. Inside, going over the game overview, game components. Quick look at those. Going over the setup of the game. Parts of the card, resources. So a lot of blank space, so it doesn't look like any hard reading. And I have played this before. I did own the first edition and sold it, and it was one of the regrets, so I was glad to get the second edition, which actually does come with its own expansion. So here we've got our main board. So this is a deck building area control type game. Set that to the side to take a look at the board. So our deck building is going to help us get our faction out on the board, and you can see certain places we're going to get victory points for controlling, and some places are going to be worth more than others. And then the next thing we notice, in the original version, the game came with small miniatures. But this game, they got rid of the minis, and you're getting tokens, so they're going to be brightly colored and a little bit easier to tell. So regular pieces and our spies for each of the factions. So we've got our 4 houses for the base game. And then some victory point markers. And taking a look at the thickness, like with most games, I mean, that size is fairly standard. Then we have our market board, where cards come out for us to purchase. Then our house boards. So just going over the turn order, where we put our deck, discard piles, trophy hall, and our barracks. So all those are going to be the same except for our color and the main name. We've got a score sheet. They gave us some bags for tokens. And then a bunch of cards for us to take a look at, which we will go ahead and do. So I've got all the components laid out here. So now just all the cards to look at. So with most deck builders, we're going to have a starting hand. We're going to start with 7 noble cards and also 3 soldiers. So there's 2 kind of resources in this game. We have influence, which is basically money, so we can purchase other cards, and then power, and that's going to allow us to interact more with the map and bringing out units and destroying others. So our soldiers and our nobles to start our starting hands. Then cards we can purchase. Up here we have the cost. Victory points for the end of the game if the card is in your hand. Victory points if the card has been promoted. So that's one cool thing about this game is there's mechanics to get cards out of your hand, and you get more points for them when they're done, but of course they're more useful to you while they are in your hand. So I've got the house guard there and what they're providing for us. Then the Priestess of Loth. Stack of Insane Outcasts. These are negative effects to have in your hand. You don't want to get those. And then, of course, on the board, we got a spot for victory points, devoured cards, and where our market deck gets placed. And the market deck is going to be 2 of these faction decks shuffled together. So first, we'll look at the Undead. Of course, all these cards are going to have different abilities, so whether they're Malice or Conquest and Guile and Ambition, so different abilities there. But you can see we've got a white, So tons of cards: Carrion Crawler, Flesh Golem, Revenant, Death Knight, Skeletal Horde, got a skeleton, a zombie, ravenous zombies, Mummy Lord, some wraiths, ghosts, conjurers, banshees, vampire spawn, necromancers, high priest, and a vampire. Then we have an aberration deck with a spectator, a Golf, a mind witness, a beholder, a death tyrant, some cranium rats, Grimlock, an Umber Hulk, Cloaker, a Nothic, Brainwash Slave, Aboleth, Ambassadors, Intellect Devourers, Puppeteers, and some things I don't want to pronounce. And I'll let y'all let me know if it's Drow or Dro, but whichever you have, that's the deck we're looking at. Got some Blackguard, Bounty Hunters, Doppelgangers, Deathblade, Inquisitor, Band Scouts, Mercenaries, Rangers, Master of Melee, Spell Spinners, Spy Masters, Information Brokers, Advocates, Chosen of Lolith, Negotiator, and the Mother. Then the Dragon deck, which has to have some Dragon Cultists, Red Wormlings, a Dragon Claw, Kobolds, White Wormling, a Black Wormling, Watcher of the Fae, and Enchanters, Green Wormling, Cult Fanatics, Worm Speaker, and a Blue Dragon. Then some demons, and some ghouls, Mind Flayers, Orcus, Darrow, an Etten, Demogorgon, a Night Hag, a Jackal-Wearer, Succubus, and some more fun names. And lastly, the Elemental deck with the Eternal Flame Cultist, Fire Elemental, Vanifer, Wave Cultist, Water Elementals, Air Elementals, Howling Hatred Cultist, Black Earth Cultist, Earth Elemental, and we'll finish with the Ogre Mock. And that is everything in the Tyrants of the Underdark board game. As always, hope you enjoyed this unboxing, so please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.